Boink, bop, blip. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nerd Ledger. I was going to play the theme song, but then I forgot, and it was too late. I already pressed go live, so you know what I'm saying?
It's too late. The production value has fallen off a cliff.
Sure.
It's in ruin.
Yeah, I'll play the Nerd News theme song when we get there, though. I have that queued up already, so.
I mean, do we really have time to talk about the news today?
Well, there's a lot of
Do we?
important news that came out today.
There's so many things going on in nerddom all at once. I hate it. It's like we had to pull stuff out of our butts to make this work for a year during the writer's strike, and now we're drowning. We're suffocating. You might
Yeah,
even say we're flailing. I'm
but
flailing
I
right
mean,
now.
I mean, there was still some news during the writer's strike and stuff, you know.
Yeah, news on the writer's strike itself.
Yeah, and whatever else is going on, but yeah, there's some big news that came out today.
Mm.
So we can briefly go over some of that fun stuff. Um, but also, I mean, yeah, you're right. There's a lot that's been going on recently.
Yeah. In the shows themselves, not just like the news, but like the shows themselves are just like, wow, X-Men 97, dude, wow.
uh huh,
Ay,
uh huh,
ay,
uh huh.
ay.
Yep.
Ay, yeah.
We'll be talking about X-Men 97 today.
Mm,
Tales of the Empire dropped. We also went and saw the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace in theaters on Saturday. So that
we
happened.
were we were twinning the entire time. We both had matching sweatshirts. Your wife thought it was super cute, and it
Totally.
was, by the
Yeah.
way.
Um Also Fallout we've both watched now, so we'll talk about
Yep,
that at some point.
yep.
We'll talk about
Which is
Shogun
good.
at some point.
Yeah, Shogun I need to watch still.
Um
I'm catching up on anime lately, because I bought a Blu-ray of an anime that I watched as a kid that I really want to watch. So I'm watching it, I paid money for it, and I just gotta use the things I pay money for because I'm tired of like buying things, not using them. So
yeah.
I gotta get my $20 out of this Blu-ray, brother. I don't know what else to tell you. It's gotta
Yeah.
happen.
Well, there you
So
go. Get your $20 out of out of that Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
So, but also, for me personally, I got a start date and a preliminary schedule for my second job that I'm gonna be starting. So,
There you go.
Wednesdays, I will be working nights. So, it seems like Thursday will be our day moving forward still. So,
Uh,
which I'm okay with. Are you okay with Thursdays?
yeah, Thursdays it's fine. I'm okay with this time. It'll get a
Yeah,
little tricky. But we're doing the 5 to 6, so that really helps. Uh,
yeah,
we don't have to worry about like the PvP that I do. So yeah,
yeah.
it'll start right off, and just go right into that. And, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, um, we have no crackhead news today. Okay,
Oh,
no crackhead news, but we do have nerd news. Okay, so I'm gonna play the nerd news theme song. You'll be able to hear it.
um,
Don't worry.
are you
And
gonna play
then
it straight into the microphone, like with your
no,
phone?
no, no. It's plugged into the
No.
interface. It's plugged in the interface.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
That puts my mind at ease.
okay, you ready? Here we go.
Yes.
Here's our theme song.
Yeah.
Okay, you couldn't hear the nerd news part because the
It
chord is
cut out.
terrible, but it
It
says
cut
nerd news
out.
at the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it like hella heavy metal? It goes like nerd news.
Oh shit. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. It just
Wow.
it just says nerd news with a bunch of different of me
I
saying it
just I
over and
just
over.
posted. It just wow. That was a loud noise. I
Yeah, I'm
just posted
sorry. It
this
was
this link in a bunch of discords. Come on, man.
it's
We
the
gotta pull it together here.
it's the aux cord. It's the aux cord. I'm
It's
sorry.
all right. Sorry.
Just
It's
it
okay.
is
You're
what
working
it
a second
is.
job. So you're stressed out and tired, and so I understand.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about nerd news, and I'll start with the less important nerd news. Something you sent me last week about Chris Hemsworth did like an interview with Variety, I think, or Vanity Fair or some shit,
Yeah.
where he was kind of like just apologizing for Thor: Love and Thunder, um, and so he did an interview and. He was talking to the magazine and he said, sometimes I felt like a security guard for the team. I would read everyone's lines and go, oh, they get way cooler stuff. They're having way more fun. What's my character doing? It's always about you've got the wig on, you've got the muscles, you've got the costume. Where's the lightning? Yeah, I'm part of this big thing, but I'm probably pretty replaceable. Um, but he also kind of said like, you know, he got really wacky with Love and Thunder and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, and he was kind of apologizing for it. But on the heels of that, Robert Downey Jr. did come out and say he completely disagrees with Chris Hemsworth. He said, first off, Thor as a character was super tricky to adapt, lots of implied limitations, but he and Ken Branagh figured out how to transcend, make him somehow relatable but godlike. Hemsworth is, in my opinion, the most complex psyche out of all of us Avengers. He's got wit and gravitas, but also such restraint, fire, and gentleness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think also to add into this too, like backing up Chris, like you and I know Thor from some of like the DVD adaptations. Like he is a very silly character. Like he's like in the first Thor movie, he threw his like freaking cup on the ground, a coffee cup on the ground, like demanded another. So that the silliness is there. But honestly, like too, I think a lot of this comes down to who was the director on the set of Love and Thunder is also super important to think about. While you're reading this article. So maybe just putting that out there too.
yeah, but
It was,
well, some people didn't like Ragnarok, right? But like the majority of
yeah,
people thought Ragnarok was the best Thor movie that we ever got up to that point.
yeah, yes.
And that the same director, Taika Waititi, and so I mean, I don't know what went wrong necessarily, but
Flew too close to the sun. It was
maybe.
a little, maybe through. I don't know. It just following him on social media and like see him get progressively sillier. I think is an important thing to track too. Taika Waititi specifically. Like I didn't like Joe. I thought Jojo Rabbit was very like comedic in a lot of points and a very strangely paced movie. So, but maybe it wasn't just my taste. Maybe his style of humor just really is my taste. You and I think both had our issues with Love and Thunder. Ooh, the stream is down.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
just because this fucking internet, man.
Are
No,
you
not the.
plugged
It's
in?
not the internet. It's the article. Like I had open. It was being buggy,
Oh.
so I closed the article now.
Hmm.
So that it will fix. Hopefully it will fix soon. But anyway, is it not fixed? No, it's fixed.
It's
Mostly,
fixed now.
it's starting to get fixed. Okay,
Yeah.
still lagging a bit, but I'm closing out of some of these windows, so we should be okay.
Yeah.
These articles are still loading these other ones, so
No.
maybe not. Anyway,
Did you
you
open
know,
them all at the same time?
well, yeah, but they were all loaded. Now they're just reloading, probably because of an ad blocker. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna close them all because I already know. I already
Yeah.
know the news. So the next bit of news was that there was like a Disney shareholder call this week, and Bob Iger said that they're gonna limit the amount of content they're putting out for Marvel specifically. He said no more than 3 movies a year and no more than 2 shows on Disney Plus a year, which is not really surprising because that was talked about before, and also that was kind of the formula for a long time where it was only 3 movies a year. They did go overboard with TV shows for a bit, but I don't think that's really news. But
Yeah.
apparently some people thought that was a big deal. I mean, we're only getting one movie this year, which is Deadpool and Wolverine. And then as far as shows, like MCU shows, I guess we got Echo.
Yeah. You and I
And
like Echo, but I think the one that flopped the hardest is probably Secret Invasion. Like like it's
yeah.
so non-relevant now. Like you and I know the marker of a show like really not hitting well or not being important is that it has a little bit of controversy and then nobody talks about it ever again. Why does nobody talk about it ever again? Because it's boring to watch and nobody wants to watch it again. That's why. If you can't make a show that people want to watch over and over again, either to hate like people did with She-Hulk, where they literally could not stop talking about it and watching and pointing out all the things they hated, or like what's a really good show that came out that everybody like just couldn't stop talking about that was amazing? The first season of WandaVision. It was phenomenal. Everybody loved it, and it's just people kept talking about it, and like people still they go reference WandaVision as one of like the successes. So that's an important thing to keep track of. How's it going
Yeah.
over there?
No, we're good. We're good. Um,
Okay,
we're better now because I closed all those articles. I'll just read them off my phone.
got it.
So big news today because Warner Brothers also had some meeting thing, and CEO David Zaslav, he talked about the importance of franchises when it comes to making money.
Yeah.
saying like, we've got these major franchises like Harry Potter that we haven't done anything with, and we know there's a lot of money to be made there, and Lord of the Rings, where we still have those rights. And so he did announce that a new Lord of the Rings movie will be coming out in 2026, produced by Peter Jackson, and I believe directed by and starring Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis as Gollum,
And
probably.
the
Who
movie
else would he be?
the movie will be titled The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. And so, as the title suggests, it will feature Serkis as Gollum as its main character. Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens are writing the screenplay. They wrote the trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That they wrote the screenplays with Peter Jackson for that. For what we got already. So good to hear that they're coming back, along with Phoebe Gittins and Artie Papagiorgio. That guy is doing the War of the Rohirrim animated thing that comes out this December. The Hunt for Gollum is executive produced by Ken Kamins, with Serkis and the Imaginarium's Jonathan Cavendish. Peter Jackson is producing with Walsh and Boyens. And so this was, I don't know who said this. I'll get to that. Someone said this. For over 2 decades, moviegoers have embraced the Lord of the Rings film trilogy because of the undeniable devotion Peter, Fran, and Philippa have shown towards protecting the legacy of Tolkien's works, and to ensure audiences could experience the incredible world he created in a way that honors his literary vision. Warner Brothers Motion Pictures head Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi said this in a joint statement. They said, "We are honored they have agreed to be our partners on these 2 new films. With Andy coming on aboard to direct The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, we continue an important commitment to excellence that is a true hallmark of how we all want to venture ahead and further contribute to the Lord of the Rings cinematic universe." Cinematic history. There you go. Jackson, Walsh, and Boyens added, "It's an honor and privilege to travel back to Middle-earth with our good friend and collaborator Andy Serkis, who has unfinished business with that stinker Gollum. As lifelong fans of Professor Tolkien's vast mythology, we are proud to be working with Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, and the entire team at Warner Brothers on another epic adventure." So yeah, that's one of the pieces of big news that came out today, and I think that is pretty exciting. I mean, I don't know who we'll see as certain other characters, but my imagination, the way I envision this, it's called The Hunt for Gollum. Who's hunting Gollum? Why are they hunting Gollum? I believe this is going to take place in the book, the 20 years between when Frodo gets the ring and then leaves the Shire, where Gandalf and Aragorn are hunting Gollum, and Gollum ends up, in a prison with the Elves of Mirkwood, and then escapes and all this kind of stuff. And like, I imagine that's what this story will focus on.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good. It'll be good to have Andy Serkis back, and hopefully they do it justice as well. And it'll be interesting to see if they bring anyone else back, or if they'll recast Aragorn, if they'll recast Gandalf. Who knows?
Who's dead? That's the most important thing we need to think of right away.
Well, Bernard Hill, who played Theoden, just died.
Just recently passed away. Yeah,
but he.
Ian
McKellen's still alive.
Right? Okay.
Viggo Mortensen's still alive.
Okay.
Orlando Bloom, he loves bringing back Orlando Bloom as Legolas. He's still alive.
He's still alive, and I'm pretty sure he's still willing to be Legolas.
Absolutely. I mean, he was just there's just like a small reunion with him and Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd and Elijah Wood. I think they all were at like a restaurant together recently. So yeah, I mean, I can imagine they're gonna be in Mirkwood most likely. So it would make sense for Legolas to be there, I guess.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. I think you could always write him in. We'll just see.
I wonder if they're gonna do any like expansion through that as well. Like, is it gonna only focus on that, the Hunt for Gollum? Is it gonna be from Gollum's perspective, like kind of thing, or is it gonna kind of branch out to some of the other things that were happening around that time, including like the Mouth of Sauron going to Erebor, trying to like sweet talk the dwarves into joining Sauron's side? like
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. Who knows?
Yeah, you know all that stuff. I don't know. Like I said, reading just reading the Hobbit. I love reading the Hobbit, but like reading like the trilogy is like a Herculean effort for me, even though you do it like once a year. But for me, it's like a journey I got to take on for like a year and a half. So,
No, I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
I'm not the fastest reader in the world. I think I have to come to admit that about myself, or at least not anymore. So, well, sometimes I eat a book alive, but recently I haven't been reading at all. So it just depends.
Yeah. Well,
Um, but I think we're gonna pull a Nerd Ledger Classic and just to pull the wait and see. Like the stars are aligned. Like the actors are here, the talent is here. All we can do now is just hope. Like there's gonna be a lot of, as you and I know, gossip. There's probably gonna be leaks from the set so we can see like the outfits and how it looks. There's
yeah.
probably gonna
Well,
be
there will be
there's
a
gonna be
bunch
good
of
trailers.
rumors, right?
Yes,
And that's a good
exactly. Yeah,
transition. That's a good transition into the last piece of news I have, because rumors are a thing that come up all the time, and most of the time we don't talk about them because I don't care about rumors most of the time. Like, and I'll give you two reasons why. First of all, I could see a rumor that says like Wesley Snipes is returning as Blade in Deadpool 3. And if I believe that and I expect that, and then I go to the movie and I'm waiting to see him the whole time and he never shows up, well, that only hurts me in the end, and it might like affect the way I view the movie or something, right?
yeah,
Um, and the other thing too is like with rumors, like most of the time, like there's something to them, or else they wouldn't be rumors. But like that doesn't mean anything, right? So like we covered a bunch of like stuff surrounding Fantastic Four, and I mentioned that last week when I talked about Crackhead News. Like, yeah, there will be rumors that like are close to the mark or whatever, but like it's a lot of casting rumors are just because like people, if somebody in a room said that guy would be good, or someone auditioned for something and an insider heard about it and then reported, so and so in talks to play this role. And when people read that, they think they're going to play that role. And one of the big ones was Javier Bardem was like the guy. He is the main guy who's going to most likely become Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie. That was like widely reported. I mean, as well as like Jodie Comer as Invisible Woman, which didn't happen, and John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, which didn't happen. Like,
what did happen?
no. Well, it did, but not for the movie.
Gotcha. Just kidding.
Not
But
for the
yeah, no,
movie.
not for the
Um,
movie.
but
We know who we're getting.
yeah, and then today, two castings came out for Fantastic Four. One is John Malkovich in an undisclosed role. So my guess, I bet the rumors are gonna circulate. He's gonna play, guys. He's gonna be Doctor Doom, or guys, he's gonna be Norrin Rad's version of Silver Surfer because he's bald. Like, who fucking knows, right? Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We can speculate, whatever. But we do know who's playing Galactus, and it's not Javier Bardem. It's a guy named Ralph Ineson. He was in Game of Thrones. I forgot who he played, but I'm sure if I read this article, it will tell me who he played. Ineson is a prolific actor known for his work as Amicus Caro in Harry Potter, William in The Witch, and Dagmir Cleftjaw in Game of Thrones. He's actually appeared in the MCU portraying an unnamed Ravager in the background of Guardians of the Galaxy. He will be your Galactus.
Galactus.
And so Galactus is cast. Galactus is your main villain. This is not surprising, right? Like, you cast Silver Surfer, Julia Garner. She was cast as Silver Surfer. You're going to get a Galactus, right? We don't know how the story will go. We don't know what timeline or what universe this is going to take place in, or how they're going to get into the MCU, or what any of that. We don't know any of that. We can speculate again, but we don't know any of that. What we do know is if there's Silver Surfer, there's Galactus. That's just, maybe not like down the line when Norrin Rad, breaks free of Galactus and all that stuff, but like for now, your first appearance, Silver Surfer in an MCU movie, there's Galactus. So we knew that. But it's not who the number one rumored guy is. It's a new guy. And so, yeah, there you go. There you have it. And John Malkovich.
No. And John Malkovich.
Yeah. So there's the news. we'll do X-Men 97. We'll just jump into that.
We'll just jump in. Yeah, how do we
And
jump
then
in?
and then if we have time, we'll get to some of Tales of the Empire as well.
Yeah, because I watched
Um,
all of it and I'm not happy, but
I
I'm like
watched all
happy.
of it as well.
What's
Okay,
your general
fine. We'll,
impression?
we'll we'll just talk about. We'll just talk about it real quick. It won't be.
Okay, I'll
It
talk
won't be a
about.
long. It won't be long. So
Okay.
Tales of the Empire
Do you
is
think?
is
Do you think it
six.
should have been called Tales of the Inquisition? Do you think maybe that's something that maybe they should have said? Maybe.
Well, it's like the start of the Empire, but like, yeah, I don't know what they should have called it. All I know is that it's 6 episodes that are pretty short. The first 3 are about Morgan Elsbeth and her rise to like power, which to me doesn't make much sense. Like let's be honest, okay, brother. Those townspeople could have easily revolted against her. She didn't have the backing of the Empire.
And also, she's supposed to be a side character from The Mandalorian that made her appearance, and she had her story as a way for Ahsoka to find out where Thrawn was, and then that should have been the end of her story. She had her cool little, her like saber versus Beskar steel fight,
Well,
and she
Phoenix
should.
Phoenix brought up
I don't
too
know.
that like she was like, didn't they like, I don't know, I don't remember, so, and I didn't look into it, so I'm just gonna use what she told me. I'm gonna say that, let's just say it's true, right? Like in The Mandalorian and in Ahsoka, like she said she was the descendant of the Night Sisters, but
Hmm.
like she's actually a daughter, like she's actually a Night Sister, like
Yeah.
she was on Dathomir before it got destroyed,
Yeah.
like before everyone died.
Yeah.
So like,
You saw General Grievous in the first General Grievous with updated graphics in the first episode. It's been a while since we've
yeah,
seen that dude.
Grievous looked
He looks
great. He looked great.
he looked great. He looked fantastic, and it's nice to have like a villain like that again.
And
It's
and
just like
seeing
like
young Thrawn was also really cool.
yeah, it was, and that
Like
captain guy that was with him was apparently super important.
Captain Pelion, yeah, he is. Well, I mean, if you've read Heir to the Empire, like he's the captain. Like
Yeah.
he's one of the only. Well, you get his perspective through a lot of those books, and
Hmm.
so like you understand, like you're learning while he's learning, and then like yeah, he's an important character. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I guess like some of that is interesting. Like okay, cool. Like but they don't explain how she comes up with these crazy designs for fucking the Empire, and then the
For the
Empire is just
for
like,
not just pause you there, right? They show us this really cool opening shot of the Star Destroyer. There's really high fidelity, high graphics. Like wow,
yes,
again, I keep saying
really good.
this, dude. If you go back and you watch the first episode of the Clone Wars, and then you watch the first episode of Tales of Empire War, it is almost like I just like stepping into the future, dude. It looks super good.
Yeah, because
Like this,
the first episode of
yeah.
the Clone Wars was like 144p.
Yeah, dude, it
So
was rough, man. It's rough watching that little baby Jabba thing. Like,
yeah,
Dave
well,
Filoni really likes baby stories, by the way, in case anyone's listening. That's just his thing. Um, but continuing on with that, and then they show us a design for one of the most iconic fighters of the Empire, which is the TIE Defender, right?
yeah,
It's like it looks really cool. It's the it's like it's really cool design of like the TIE Fighter, the iconic TIE Fighter, right? The reason like everyone resonates with that design and they like it so much, and people enjoy like just associating themselves with the Empire is because they like the kind of brutalist militaristic design of like the ships and stuff like that. And like the TIE Defender is like one of the apex of those designs. It really is. Like it's just everything. It's a giant flying weapons platform that looks like a TIE fighter, but looks like extra badass.
yeah.
And the fact that they showed us like these blueprints, but not the actual fighter itself in these awesome graphics is like it's like a crime, man. Like I
Well,
don't know why
like
I
also,
watched all those episodes in a blur last night. I don't understand why, and I think it's because I was just distracted by pretty colors and like ooh, Star Wars, like Clone Wars, like don't let the flame die out, kind of stuff. But
yeah.
damn, I woke up thinking about it this morning. It's like I have a bad hangover, dude. Like it just it didn't do any cool, interesting things that I wanted it to do. I think, and we only got little tidbits of the cool, interesting things that everybody wanted, which is episodes that are focused on Thrawn and that captain guy, and like the more advanced ships in the Empire you don't see everywhere, and like more stories about that, or like like Colonel Veers, who's the guy who invented the AT-AT, he's really awesome. It just sucks that we didn't get any of that at all. And yeah,
Yeah, the thing is like people,
that's me manically venting.
when
Like
when when the like when the side characters outshine the main characters, it's kind of bad, right? So like when Thrawn's there, like you care about Thrawn, you don't really care about Morgan Elsbeth. And then when Grievous is there, like Grievous is cool. But other than that, like, all right, cool. Three
Yeah, it's cool.
episodes.
That's the most important thing. You should be able to, like, you only have 12 or 13-minute episodes. Like, you should be showing really, really cool stuff, you know? Not like building these characters like that you can
Well,
barely build over the course of like 12 7-minute episodes. Like, I just don't.
yeah, and Tales of the Jedi,
Ah,
I think, did that better. You know, like,
yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it showed stories that we wanted to show about Count Dooku when he was young and all the things that went into his thinking and all that kind of stuff. Another character that everybody appreciates. There's a reason he was probably one of the most popular characters in the Clone Wars series is because Count Dooku was cool. You know, he freaking fights with his lightsaber like a jouster. It's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then Morgan knows with whatever. But then the final three episodes were about Barriss Offee, who, for people who don't know, like, she's the one who, like, was the traitor against the Jedi, who, like, framed Ahsoka, which got Ahsoka kicked out of the Jedi Order because nobody believed her. And then they're like, we're so sorry, Ahsoka. We totally didn't mean to blame you for that. And then Ahsoka was like, go fuck yourself. I'm leaving. But yeah, Barriss Offee is, like, in prison or whatever. And, like, I don't really understand who, like, the Lin lady is. I don't fucking know who that is. I don't know, like, if she was a Jedi, like, she would have got killed. Like, I don't think the clones were like, oh, you're a Jedi, but you're already on our side where you're good. Like, bro, their chippy just fucking makes them kill them. Like, okay. Like, even why wouldn't they kill Barriss Offee in the prison? I don't know. Anyway, so that already
Yeah,
doesn't make
that
sense.
that pissed me off too. It's like you're not a Jedi anymore, kid. Like, what the
Like,
fuck? She can still
yeah,
use the
yeah,
Force.
she is.
She is, dude. She has all the teaching. Like, what was that? Oh,
You're lucky that
just
my chip, knows to differentiate
to
between Jedi and
differentiate
in-prison Jedi who got kicked out of the Jedi Order.
or die order. Yeah, dude.
Like,
It's
okay.
just,
Yeah.
dude.
And it's like she was full on, like, embracing the dark side and shit in the Clone Wars. And then, like, she's like, okay, and she meets some Inquisitors and, like, they're recruiting her, and then, okay, I'm ready to be a Sith. I'm ready to buy into the Empire. Oh, now I see what they're doing. I'm not ready for that, guys. The Empire is evil. I am now good. I have been redeemed because I don't believe in killing innocent Jedi. Alright. Cool.
Yeah. Like, it only took you watching your partner, to murder an entire village of innocents and say, "Hey, that was a bad call," and then like and then just like abandon this child.
Yeah.
And it's she just dude. Like, see, the more we unwrap it, the more like it's just like it's a piece of shit in a really shiny wrapper, dude.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know what else.
animation looks really good.
We're good. It does. It looks fantastic. The short, everything looks great. I wish I could have seen like some real high fidelity AT-AT walkers, not like those dumb little joke walkers we got that looked all weird and crinky in the freaking Star Wars Resistance. You know, like in
Yeah.
Rebels, dude, the vehicles did not look as good in Rebels as they should have. And yeah, I really wish that, like, we had like some cool looking ATSTs, because like, again, the ones in like the ones in Rebels, they look all weird. Like, they don't look like the normal walkers that we know. Like, they have those weird, like, rotating turret, like, on balls, like, out of their cheeks and stuff. And I don't know. I just wish we could have gotten some more of that heavy, like, that really just fantastic graphical whatever magic that's present here, with just more cooler stuff that captures like the absolute military, the scale of, like, the military engineering that goes into the Empire.
Yeah.
Like some like a super star destroyer, like
Well,
engaging an entire fleet and taking it out, or something like that.
like,
Something cool.
even like some of the stuff we got at the beginning of the Bad Batch, where, like, the Empire is fully taking control, and, like, how they're doing that transition. Like, some of that was really cool at the very beginning of the Bad Batch, and, like, we never really got much more of that. So, there's a lot of stories to be told there, but instead they're focusing on Morgan Elsbeth, who no one actually cares about, and Barriss Offee, who everybody just hopes she rotted in prison and died.
Yeah, a character that I forgot about. Like, oh yeah, that was that Jedi that betrayed Ahsoka, and wow, I didn't really think I'd be seeing her again, because there was really no point, because you thought that story was really concluded, and then she got arrested, and
Also,
then she got
brother,
Order 66.
like, again, okay, cool, cameo. Darth Vader walks in, bro. You think Darth Vader doesn't recognize Barriss Offee and know what she did to Ahsoka, and wouldn't just slice her head off right there?
Or choke her, or do literally anything,
Exactly.
I just, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
So, all right,
I don't
let's
don't
talk
know.
about something magnificent.
Oh, is it X-Men
It's
97?
it's
Yeah, dude.
X-Men '97.
It was magnificent, man. Dude, what a What a show! How lucky are we to be watching X-Men '97 and
It's
not
so
Tales
good.
of the
It's so
Empire?
good.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, they do something very well that, like, it's hard to do, I think, which is like they grab these elements from certain comic book storylines that are really popular, but like
Yep.
they still kind of do their own thing while integrating those things, right? Like this is a proper adaptation. Like
Yeah.
it's not
Can I
just
ask you?
like yeah.
Can I ask? Was there any? And so I did not. A good dichotomy we have here is that I did not watch the original show, but you did. Was
Yes.
there a lot of blood and gore in the original series
There
like that?
was not really much
Okay.
that I remember, no.
Okay.
Um and
Because I just wanted to
it
clear.
was
I just
more
wanted
for
to
kids
establish that right
back
away.
then. Like X-Men, the original animated X-Men was like it wasn't like for kids, but like it was more for kids. Like there were still like adult themes in there, and like dealing with obviously prejudices and hates and stuff. But like when you're a kid, like your brain is very simple, right? Like kids aren't born with these notions of like social structures and like racism and prejudices. Like kids are taught those things,
Yeah.
right? And so when you're a kid and you see the alternate future where Wolverine is married to Storm, you're just like, oh, two cool characters I like are married in this universe. That's really cool. But when you're an adult and you hate everybody and hate everything and you're a terrible racist, you're like, they're trying to brainwash our kids and they're forcing their garbage on us and blah blah. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, like it was, there were like a more adult underlying themes, but like it is more for kids. Whereas this is like they've
More
explicitly
graphic.
said like it's like TV 14, like it's like teenagers and above kind of stuff. Like there are more mature themes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's more blood for sure in X-Men '97 than in the original.
Mm.
But yeah, like they're adapting pretty much straight up Fatal Attractions, which is a comic book that came out in 1993, and it's not that surprising to be honest, because when Magneto broke out and did the EMP shit at the end of the previous episode, you kind of
Mm.
expected this a little bit, like for people
Yep.
familiar with it, like you kind of like because I even told my wife while watching the episode, like again, spoiler warning, we haven't said it yet, but spoiler warning, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. But like before it happened, like I was like, oh well, Wolverine's gonna get his adamantium ripped out, like
Oof.
like
Ripped.
because
Emphasis on the ripped.
yeah, and you don't know for sure. Like again, like there are little differences, like the way they got to Magneto in the comic wasn't with Nightcrawler, right? But so like there's little differences. Colossus is also involved in that storyline after his sister was killed, kind of like
Mm.
different things. So there's like those differences, but like the similarities are of course the fight at the end between Magneto and then Professor X and Wolverine a little bit, and the Magneto protocols, which President Kelly was talking about. That's a real thing in comics too, and so don't be surprised if you see that come into play in the next episode. But for this episode, like, it's just really good. It's just really good.
Yeah.
Rogue wearing Gambit's jacket. It's a nice little nod. Professor X and Scott kind of having a little bit of a fallout because
Mm.
Scott's like, brother, what the fuck is wrong with you, brother? Magneto got all of this when I could have had it, and he's like, I wanted you to be free of this. Yeah, Cyclops was not having that.
No, it was not.
Um,
Yeah. A lot of good one-liners in this one.
Yep. Magneto pretty much showing up. Professor X doing the classic, trying to like lecture him about this isn't the way kind of thing, and he's like, "Listen, brother, shut the fuck up." And anybody who wants to join me in the future and not be on this planet that's dying because I fucked up its magnetic field, so it's probably won't be here in a couple days. If you want to come survive on my asteroid with me, you can come
Yeah.
do that. And
Come visit my asteroid.
yeah.
F humanity, F it all, we're out, we out. That's what
Yeah.
Magneto is saying. He's saying we out.
Yeah, he's like, peace out, bitches. And so Rogue joins him and Sunspot joins him. I think that's it, right? No one else joins him. Just people who can fly.
Yep, just Rogue and Sunspot.
Yeah. So they go up there, and then the mansion's fucked up. So they're like, well, we got this other base, and where all our classic costumes are, so we better go there.
Yeah.
And, split into two teams, gold and blue, because X-Men colors are gold and blue.
Yep.
And somehow Wolverine always ends up on the team that goes and confronts the guy who can manipulate metal. But meanwhile, Jean.
That is true. No, I just thought about that just now. I guess.
And you'd think he'd want to go on Jean's team anyway, right? Like he's in love with her, so.
Yep.
But yeah, Jean's team. What is it? Jean, Forge, Storm, Cable. They go to confront. And and Beast is there and neutralize Bastion. Mr. Sinister is there to cause havoc, and of course because he gave the technovirus to Nathan and he cloned Jean, and Jean's clone Madeline is the mother of Cable. He partially can control Cable as well. That's all really cool stuff that's happening there, and then Professor X is. Just like in Fatal Attractions in the comic book, he's ready to cross some moral lines to stop Magneto.
Yeah.
Like first, they need Magneto to fix the magnetic field on Earth, right? And so
yeah, it's kind of important.
Charles was gonna mind control him to do that, and that goes against a lot of what Professor X is about, right? Like. Morally, he's not okay with that, and he's ready to cross that line to save Earth and to stop Magneto, and he does a little bit, but of course that doesn't last very long. Magneto breaks free. I don't remember how. Cyclops interferes because he gets contacted by Jean as she's fighting Cable, and he's like, "They need more time, and I'm already pissed off at you, Professor X, and I'm not gonna stop being pissed off. So I'm gonna laser beam your fucking wheelchair." And then Magneto breaks free of it, puts his helmet on Professor X so that he can't use his powers.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, by the way. I was like, oh man, he's gonna put his helmet on Professor X, and like, how does that work? Like, I hope it's not like Black Bolt where his head explodes. Cause
no,
his
head won't explode.
Okay.
And then
there was also a funny sequence where Magneto slapped a metal shaving over Professor X's face and told him to shut up. And
yeah, he's like, I've been waiting to say these two words to you. Shut up.
Yeah.
What he really meant to say is, you presume to lecture me, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. That was really cool, but Magneto didn't account for Wolverine sneaking up behind him, stabbing him through the chest with some claws, some adamantium claws, and we don't know what's going to happen to Magneto, but what we do know is he got pretty mad. And one of the small differences is in Fatal Attractions, Wolverine tries to stab him but doesn't succeed, and that pisses off Magneto, and Magneto then uses his powers to rip out his adamantium skeleton, which does come out like liquid for some reason. Like he's able to liquefy the adamantium and like pull it through his pores. Or some shit, like, and it's
yikes.
And it like it happens so fast that like Wolverine doesn't really even like have time to scream, just gets the shit ripped out. And this is where the episode ends, by the way. But if there's a couple things they might do. First, they might continue on with this Wolverine story where he gets his adamantium ripped out. This is the first appearance ever in comics of bone claws, right? Because up until this point in comics, it was assumed that the claws were given to him during the Weapon X project. And there's always been arguments amongst nerds about was he born with bone claws or not. In this storyline, tells us that he was. Encoding overload. Okay, I don't know what that means. It seems fine. So
It seems fine. It'll all work out in the
yeah,
end. It
yeah,
always
yeah,
does.
yeah.
For Cajun chair, things are always be in the green.
Sure, yeah. So
Yeah.
so that storyline where I mean, obviously he has the healing factor. It takes him a long time to heal. Because of this traumatic experience, he kind of goes like feral in some ways.
Mm.
Because his healing factor, because it doesn't have to continuously heal him from the toxic metal in his body,
Mm.
goes into like overdrive as well. And that storyline, it's kind of ridiculous because it just ends with like Apocalypse making him his horseman of death, and then he breaks free of Apocalypse, and he gets his animanium back because of that. He was the horseman of death, and so it's like, okay, he's back to normal, broke free, whatever kind of thing. So I don't think all of that will happen, but they might focus like in a season 2 on like Wolverine recovering, right? The other big thing is in Fatal Attractions, because Charles, what he does is he does get inside Magneto's head and he mind wipes him, which puts Magneto into a coma. But what that does is it creates Onslaught. And Onslaught is like,
Onslaught?
yeah, you know Onslaught?
No.
Okay, so I don't know the best way to describe this, but like essentially because he takes control of Magneto's mind, there's like this like there's this psychic energy that's created by the merging of their minds, and it creates a physical being which is like the darkest parts of both Magneto and Xavier. And so Onslaught is this character, this villain who essentially like is pretty much unstoppable, and the only way that he is stopped in the end is the X-Men need to team up with both the Avengers and the Fantastic Four in order to defeat him. And so
So like a superhero slam down.
yeah, and so again, I mean we got a big cameo. We got Morph turning into Hulk in this
Yep.
episode.
Yes, we
Um
did.
and
Morph
so
smash.
we've seen Hulk, we've seen Captain America. We could
Spider-Man.
see, yep, we've seen
We saw
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
So
Yep.
we could see some if Onslaught is the future here, if that's what they're going for, we could see some major team up cameos happening in a season 2. Um, so that could happen. Don't know if it will happen. We don't know if Professor X will do the mind wipe in the next episode or how that would work. We don't know what's going to happen to Magneto. We don't know if he's going to go into a coma or not.
Mm.
None of that is known to us, but I mean, we're excited, right?
Yeah, we are. We are very excited. How many more episodes we got? 3, 2?
One more.
Oh. So do you think they're gonna do a 50-minute special like they usually do? Or like we have seen before, or do you think it's gonna be
I think for a season finale, maybe like 35 minutes at the most. I can't see
mm,
them doing like a full hour. Otherwise, they would have just made it a longer season, I think. I
yeah.
don't know. But and again, the Magneto protocols, right? Like what to do if Magneto threatens humanity, kind of thing. That could very well play a role in the next episode. So this guy's calling me again. Like he
Again.
knows every Thursday I do this. I tell him every time that I do this. I even send him a link so he can watch, so he doesn't have to ask me questions later.
Mm.
About what's going on. So that But anyway, yeah, he still calls me every Thursday while we're doing this. So anyway, yeah.
That's just the way that some people be sometimes.
What are your thoughts on X-Men 97 episode 9?
It's fantastic. The voice acting, these guys are like A class, like God tier level, final limit break voice actors that are just really good at their jobs. Josh Brolin stepped in these shoes amazing. Did he voice was Cable present in the original series?
Yeah, he
Was he
was. I don't. Does Josh
was he
Brolin voice him in the
uh,
animated?
it sounds just like Josh Brolin. I would be surprised if it isn't.
I
I'm gonna
don't. I
Google
don't
that
know
right.
if it is.
Let me Google that. X-Men 97. It sounds just like him. Josh.
I don't know if it is. Cable. It is Josh Brolin.
I
No,
knew
no,
it.
that says Deadpool. That says Deadpool 2. It says Deadpool 2. Hold on.
Cable voice actor. Oh, Chris Potter.
Yeah, there you go.
He's not voiced by Chris Potter, who get used to voice. He used to voice Gambit. What? Wow, this
Yeah,
guy
they have a
sounds
new
just like
voice
what?
actor for
This
Gambit.
guy sounds just like Josh Brolin. Holy crap!
Hey, well,
It sounded like
hey,
I was confused. That's why. Don't blame me. It happens to the best of us at the worst moments.
maybe Josh Brolin is just good at doing a Cable voice.
Yeah, that could also be true.
But it kind of, I mean, he sounds like himself in most of his roles, you know? Like, his voice is like Josh Brolin's voice. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think for comic book fans, there's a lot to love about X-Men '97. But for people who have never read the comic books, it's just like surprise after surprise, and just like a lot of great storytelling, and a lot of subtlety as well. I mean, even like the stuff with Jean and Storm, like their sisterhood kind of stuff, is really important. Like every character is kind of given their moments to shine.
Yep.
Sunspot was very apologetic to Jubilee for fighting her, and then Jubilee, she don't give no fucks. She was fighting back. She don't care anymore. She don't care that you're sorry. Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah, she was ready to unload. She had her
yeah,
sunglasses on so nobody could see the tears as
exactly.
she threw her magical sparkles at her boyfriend. I don't. What is she like? She creates little pyrokinetic things, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
also, okay, Beast holding Tilby's hand when she was recovering. Come on, Beast. Come on. Move on, brother. Move on. She's terrible. You can do better. You can do better.
I have no cocks in this fight, so I won't comment.
But he could do better.
Okay, that's I'll take your word for it. He is Beast. Is voiced by the guy that he is acted by the guy who played Fraser, Leslie Graham or Leslie. What's his name? Leslie
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer. There
Is
we go.
he voiced by Kelsey Grammer?
No, he's not voiced, but he plays
He
him
played
though,
him in
doesn't
the
he?
Fox movies, yeah, and then he
Yes,
reprised it in the post credit for the Marvels.
exactly. So he's back, and that means Fraser is relevant again once more.
I don't
So
I don't think it is. I think they tried to do a reboot and nobody watched it or something. I don't remember.
yeah, you're probably not wrong.
I don't know. I know that The Office is getting a reboot or something.
Hmm.
Like they have
Yeah, they're getting a spin-off. They're getting a spin-off.
yeah, they cast the guy who played Hux in the sequel trilogy. You know Hux, the redhead Imperial officer.
No.
What?
Oh,
Remember?
Admiral Hawk. Yes,
Yeah.
now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, at the
Okay,
beginning
now I
of
remember.
The Last Jedi, he was being trolled by Poe Dameron. He was like pretending like he was getting a phone call or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was always angry.
Yeah.
And he was always getting abused by Kylo Ren. Played by Dom Nahal Gleeson or some shit. Don't know how to say his name, but that's how I say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be like the one of the leads in the Office spinoff. So.
Yep.
But yeah. Anyway, X-Men '97's
X-Men
killing it.
97.
It's killing it.
Yeah, dude. It's again just recapturing. You know, in these Saturday morning cartoons, like you got. It's weird how they put you through these fast-paced vibes, right? Because like in the Saturday morning cartoon, you know, eventually, you know, a character dies, like you know something happens, you know, but eventually it all goes back to normal. Like you know, Professor X eventually he came back. Like you know that's how the show ended last time, I'm sure, but. And this thing, like you know, they're continuing again, like with the cartoon. Like I'm glad that they're following just a more cartoonish sporadic, random sort of like, you know, again, like Magneto just held up this book saying, "This is the last book of Charles Xavier, and now I'm in charge of the X-Men, and you got to do whatever I tell you." Even though I'm like your worst mortal enemy that's been fighting you for like literally 20 years. and
And
they're like,
by the end of
oh,
the
man.
season, I'm gonna be fighting you again.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how Saturday morning cartoons work, right? The
Yeah.
villains come and go. Like, you know, there's always like one basic villain. There's always like the recurring villains and all the big fights they have. And
Well, I just don't understand how like also like Professor X like doesn't seem all that bothered by what happened in Genosha. You know, like
yeah, he just you know we could talk about. I think we could talk about it. Just it seems like in this episode, it really seems like they're framing more Professor X is like doesn't know what's going on and really out of touch. It seems like
well,
it
yeah,
just
he
yeah
absolutely is, but he's still trying to like lecture Magneto on like what's right and what's wrong and like whatever. And like I get it. Like he wants to live alongside humans and like he has his philosophy on how that's done. And Magneto has a different philosophy and also knows that Earth is now dying and doesn't give a shit. And he's like, brother, we can go survive. Who cares? Fuck the humans. Right? So, yeah, I mean, this kind of like what we anticipated. Like we talked about it last week where, Bastion is more or less defeated. At least his Prime Sentinels are defeated. Like he's still trying to do some shit. But like we know like now the focus is going to turn to the philosophical differences between Charles and Magneto and how that manifests.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
and hopefully it'll be good stuff. Hopefully it continues to be good. I think they're probably gonna. I don't know. I think we're gonna get 30 or 40 minutes next episode. I really do feel like that's what's gonna happen. But I really feel like we're getting a season 2 if it hasn't been confirmed already. And I'm just not like I haven't heard of it.
No, season 2 is already written.
Okay, so there you go. So
and it was written by the same guy who wrote this season, who no longer works for Marvel. They parted. He got fired, but like apparently it was like mutual kind of parting. I don't know, but fans want him back. Fans are like, "Hey, Bo DeMaio, we need him back. He did this amazing thing. Marvel, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
But if he doesn't want to come back, then he doesn't want to come back. He still like hypes up the series. He tells people like what they should research kind of or like what original series episodes they should watch if they want to like get some background information before the next episodes kind of thing. Like he's done a bunch of like stuff on Twitter to kind of like promote the show and like get people more interested. So I don't know. He hasn't said anything about his firing, quote unquote, or them parting ways. But what makes it seem to me like even more of a firing is like the fact that he hasn't talked about it, which suggests to me like he's under some strong NDA, which usually happens. It happens no matter what, but like most likely to me he got fired. like or else why wouldn't you just like be like, yeah, like it was a mutual parting, like they had a different vision for where they wanted to go in the future, and I couldn't uphold that creatively, so I went and left and doing my own thing or whatever, like but I don't know. So I just know fans are lobbying to get him back.
Yeah. What did he do? What he just decided? Do you know what nobody knows?
Nobody knows why they parted ways. I mean, there's rumors out there, and again, like I don't pay attention to rumors. Like I've read some of them, I just don't care. So yeah, no idea. And none of the rumors have anything to do with the storytelling or the work he did or anything. They all have to do with like him as a person or like his sexual orientation. I just think it's so fucking stupid. Like, so people can say whatever they want. The rumors can fly as much as they want. The bottom line is him and Marvel are no longer working together. And so he still wrote season 2, so we can have confidence in that. And the fact that both seasons are already written, right? It suggests to me even more that like when they were making these final episodes, they knew what they were doing. And when you're doing Fatal Attractions the way they kind of are, it suggests to me that season 2 will be more focused on like Onslaught in the end, right? So that's where I think it's going. No idea if I'm right or wrong, but that's what that's the future I see for season 2.
Yeah. All we can do is hope now.
Yep.
What do we got to talk about next week? Fallout, that's right.
Yeah, we can talk about Fallout next week.
That's going to be a good one for us to talk about. And then the final episode of X-Men 97. Man, what a trip it's been.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got it. I really am. Like it has been a fantastic journey. Again, just recapturing that childlike Saturday morning cartoon vibe. It 100% like just fills that role. It's just not a Saturday morning anymore. It doesn't inspire me to go back and watch that show though. I don't know why. I just don't. I want to watch some anime. So that's just how it be sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days when I'm really, really, really bored and just out of everything I need to watch.
Bro, tell me why the sound design during the pod race scene is so good.
Yeah, we did see Phantom Menace. Yeah, Jar Jar is rough, but also like Watto and Boss Nass are awesome characters. And pod racing, I love the Phantom Menace, and I'm not ashamed to say it anymore, and I'll say it. Phantom Menace was good.
Yeah.
even, because it had pod racing and like the Naboo N1 starfighters, like that whole fighting sequence, like around the Lucha Hulk was badass.
Or just the sound
And
engineering. Like, what's crazy
yeah,
is like for the majority of the pod race, there's no music. It's just
yep,
the sound of
just
the racers,
it's
right?
just
And
yeah,
until
oh, man,
until Anakin's fucking thing starts falling off or whatever, that's when the music
yep,
kicks in, right?
yep.
But up until that point, which is like lap almost 3, like there's no music. It's just this brilliant sound engineering of all the
Making you makes you
you
so
know.
happy.
Yeah, it's great.
Why haven't they made a pod racing series on Disney Plus yet? Why? That's
Don't
the
know.
only question I want to ask.
What's
Because
funny?
people hate free money. That's why. Because people, nothing can just be easy in this godforsaken world. Everything's got to be difficult, and people got to pick the best idea last.
Yeah, it's funny because my wife, she saw it with us, and when we were leaving, she was like, every time Jar Jar talks, I wanted to laugh out loud, but nobody else was laughing.
Yeah, it's because because she's a normal person. She's like, wow, this character's a one-off joke.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's funny, but anyway, that'll wrap us up. One more shout out before we go. For anybody who likes music, not my music, indie music. My friend, he's in a band. They just put out a music video for their first song. The band's called Bad to Worse. The song is called Surf Punk. Surf Punk, something like that. Look up Bad to Worse Surf Punk, you'll find it. They put out a music video, so go check it out. They're really good. And they're working on their first album EP something right now. It's just they're in the late stages of getting all the sound engineering on that done. So really good stuff. Anyway, like,
Yep.
comment, subscribe, rate, review, do all those things. We appreciate
Please.
you. Much love.
Yes, we love you. Get
And
me out of here.
we'll see you next week.
Take me off the
Bye.
internet. I'm done.